So to revise the last video about why I changed from the pink salt to the white salt was because people were plateauing on the pink salt so quickly. But I didn't realize that the plateau meant the person was cured. They weren't getting any more symptoms. And I'm like, is the pink salt strong enough? Are there too many minerals? And then also too, we noticed the difference between the pink salt and the white salt was the fact that there was more of the yeast and more of the flavor from the pink salt, which added more variations of the smells, and people were kind of turned off by it. So when we switched from the pink salt to the white salt, you will still get the minerals in the food supply, as well as in the cabbage and kale and in the air and the food and the water. But it was a much cleaner type of fermentation. It was tastier. It was easier to get down. You didn't have to deal with so much yeast or any kind of like mold on the top when the cabbage or the kale would rise to the top and then be exposed to the air. Because even though you had the top on and it was airtight, there was still a bit of air in the jar just because of the nature of you live in a world, right? Not everything is 100% anaerobic, but it's more anaerobic than not when you have relatively airtight jars. That's why, those mason jars that have the two screws or the two parts to it is much better than regular spaghetti sauce jars. But anyway, so the white salt is very, very powerful. It tastes better. And then people were then feeling more symptoms, more aggressive symptoms. And that was really reaching into, I guess, centuries of poop. It was energizing the system even more to get to the areas that the pink salt couldn't get to. So as soon as you plateau on the white salt, then you're in a cured state, which isn't a bad thing because that's the whole intention of the holistic allopathic, right, is to disappear symptoms. But that's not the intention. But that's what was going on because people were taking the J juice, the white salt, with every pain. So now we've changed things around. Now with the white salt, it'll bring everything to surface that much quicker, which means you will deal with all of your evolution that much quicker, which means that, yes, you can then meter out how much you want to deal with on a daily basis based upon your predispositions and your lifestyle. So at least with the white salt, it's going to be so powerful that you won't plateau so quickly, and it will get down to the deep nooks and crannies of your biomolecular system, and then you'll bring everything to surface. But then you don't want to keep taking it for pain because it will cure you, because it's a cure. Just nature of what salt is, it's a cure. Even though it's with probiotics and it's fermented with the cabbage and kale, it's still a cure. So you only use the J juice to initially bring everything up, whether you're obese or whether you're skinny. You bring everything up to surface and then you lay off the J juice, and then you allow your body to deal with the food supply, with the bioengineered food supply. So all salts, white or pink, doesn't matter, reflects your intentions. If your intention is to disappear symptoms, whether it's an antibiotic or a probiotic or with salt, you will find ways to disappear your symptoms. But that's not the point. You're in a dynamic environment. You are around people who are mutating viruses all the time. So you should be feeling some kind of influence from your environment. But once you deal with all your predispositions and you plateau on the white salt, so that's what we're looking for, is people plateauing on the white salt. Yeah, it means that you're cured. But now we're finding out that when people got off the J juice, even with the white salt, their stuff came back. Why did their stuff come back? Because they were taking the J juice every single day, not giving their body a chance to be recoded to the new environment with the new viruses and with all the food supply. So now everyone that's been on the J juice for the last year or the last 4 years is off of it now. Now they are going to have to deal with, of course, which is all the intention to begin with, to deal with the viruses in their environment. They need to get a respiratory infection to start exercising their diaphragm so they can get to know their alimentary canal and their ear, nose, and throat. Yes, you're going to have mucus come out, but that's what the initial J juice with the white salt was. Then it opened up your ionic gates, your alimentary canal, to allow everything to finally come out, the deluge of evolution. And so then you get to know your mucus again and not try to suppress it with all the things out there. Okay? And then you get to know your bunghole again. It's releasing all the excess. And then you're going to then figure out how to release the poop without using J juice. Because yes, the white salt is so powerful, but it needed to be because we wanted to make sure that it got to every single nook and cranny in the body. And the pink salt was not strong enough. But hey, people are going to use the pink salt, but they still have to evolve to the level of their environment. So if you don't bring up things, just depends on what you can handle. It's just like everything is about what you can handle. You can start with the pink salt and then try to graduate to the white salt, but you need to bring up all your predispositions. The ones that you know about and the ones that you don't know about are the ones that are kind of laying dormant because you had it suppressed from a child because of all the different allopathic, holistic channel blocking methods. And so now you're finally going to unblock all those channels and release the floodgates. And then this is where you finally deal with retroactive evolution. So the white salt actually forces people to deal with retroactive evolution because it's that strong. People are like, oh my God, it's poison. No, it's not poison. It's the fact that you now finally get to deal with your evolution that you've been suppressing for freaking centuries, that your ancestors were suppressing for centuries. And so you'll get your minerals from the water, from the air, and from your food supply. And you should not be discriminatory in your food. Eat the McDonald's, eat the pizzas, eat whatever. If you're underweight, you can do microdosing of J juice a little bit just to kind of get things going, but not use it so much to where you're waterfalling. If you even did a teaspoon of the J juice and you ate a big thing of pizza, that's fine. But the real crux of it all is to get rid of the old programming, and you'll be sweating. And the reason why people barf and why they have diarrhea and they're not on the J juice is because they were exposed to a virus that recoded them. And then their electrolytes is what then activated the immune system to release all of the old programming. So that's why people barf, and that's why they diarrhea, and they're not on the J juice. And then they're depleted. They have to go to the hospital to go get electrolytes. Well, that won't happen on the J juice because you have the electrolytes in the J juice. You have the sugar, you have the salt, and you have the minerals, and you have the water. And so, yes, you are going to be then potentially forcing the reprogramming of your body, but then you'll recode it then with the food supply, and you'll support all of that evolution with the current food supply and with the virus in the environment. And so where I'm at today is I can be exposed to people and suffer a little bit of evolution. I might have to cough a bit. I might be blowing out mucus for a second, and I might be really tired one day and sleep for like 5 hours in the middle of the day, and then I'll be up and I'll be fine. And it's like as if nothing happened. But that's the whole point of evolving our society, is taking the time to evolve. Not taking all your Theraflus and taking out organs and using NyQuil and taking all your aspirins and all that crap, or doing meditation or breathing or jumping into cold water or hot water or whatever the hell people do nowadays to mitigate pain. But now it's about facing your freaking pain. And so the white salt is powerful enough to bring it up, but don't be using my J juice in reaction to all of your pain, because then you will be in a cured state, which is what people were doing for centuries. But that's why we have lifespans, because you're in a dynamic environment. There's no possible way to be cured indefinitely. Okay. And so you can't be, equilibrium is where you want to be. That's where I'm at equilibrium right now. If I get exposed to a new variant, I'll deal with it. But this is what people want. They want to be in a clear-headed equilibrium state where they're still working fluidly with the environment without being in chronic pain, without dealing with brain fog, without, having all these complications that cause them to be in the medical holistic system. I don't need the medical holistic system at all. Though if I have to go travel, I'll get the vaccine. I'm perfectly fine getting vaccinated for all the different things if I need to participate in things that I want to do. And then guess what? My body will take to it. I'll deal with all the evolution. I'll feed my body correctly. And I'll just deal with it. I'm not going to grow like, a horn or all that stuff, you guys, okay? Remember, there is phenotypes and genotypes, and then there's species. We're the human race species, with the primates as our ancestors. We're not a freaking jellyfish, and we're not a dog, and we're not a plant. You can't crossbreed species. There's phenotypes, which are physical characteristics, genotypes, which are genetic organisms that have genetic, types of makeup, and then you have different species. Okay, so all the viruses out there are not going to turn you into a dog. I'm around my dog and I get all of her viruses. Am I a dog? No, because I have an immune system that has a programming, that has a blueprint. And so all the vaccines and all the different antibodies from people who are shedding have still the same species, phenotype, and genotype. Okay, so I'm not fearful of any vaccines. I just don't feel like evolving to the vaccines yet because I'm trying to get through some stuff. But once I'm done with my book, and once I'm done with all of this information where I have it in a nice, neat little package, then I will deal with evolving to the level of biotech. Okay? So that's why I changed from the pink salt to the white salt, because I needed to know, well, it was because of the COVID stuff. We weren't sure if we were going to get the pink salt from overseas, but then we realized the white salt was more powerful. And people were all afraid, oh, is it toxic? No, it's not toxic. It's a process. Everything's freaking processed. So don't worry about processing. There's nothing poisonous. If it's FDA approved or a fruit and vegetable out there in your freaking garden, which you should really get the Big Agro fruit and vegetable. But, if it's all food, and then it's all fine. Okay? So you guys keep it cool. All right. Bye.